Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube land. Roknot here with part 4 of our Final Fantasy VI playthrough. Last we left off, our heroes were ambushed at Castle Figaro, I think is how it's pronounced. I've pronounced it 3 different ways now. By Kifka, who had set the place ablaze. Edgar, Locke, and Terra had escaped while sending the castle into the desert, basically escaping Kifka's clutches. So now we're on our way to the Returner's hideout. So we're gonna basically go through this cave here into South Figaro and then into the mountains north of there to find the Returner's hideout. So one thing you'll notice right now is we just walked up to this body of water here, and the screen flashed as if we hit a save point. Now, in fact, we did not hit a save point. We're actually at a spring that replenishes our hit points and magic points. So I'd suggest anytime you're going by that spring, just go up and replenish your hit points and magic points every time. No matter how full they may be, just go up there, hit that, and then refill everything. It's going to be well worth your time. Also, one thing you guys may have noticed on during the last 3 parts here is that I've got all characters in the front row. And some of you are probably thinking, Rock, why are you doing that? That makes your casters not as... your casters aren't as defensive as some of your melee characters, making them weaker to melee attacks. If you put them on the back row, then they don't take melee attacks as hard, which is true. Typically, I forget all about it because normally I try to keep my characters powerful enough that that doesn't come into factor. But sometimes, you know, just for the sake of this playthrough, I will move Terra to the back row because she is a caster. Now, moving her to the back row, if she was to use a melee attack, it would be... the effectiveness of that attack would be less. So in turn, she'd hit for less hit points, but her magic attacks stay the same. So she can still do the same amount of damage from the back row with her fire spell. She just can't do the same amount with her sword or dagger, whatever she's carrying at this point. Which, for a caster like Terra, you're not going to have her using her melee weapon. You're gonna have her actually using her magic more often than not. And right now, I've got a great combination in characters here with Edgar and Terra, both being characters able to hit all of the monsters in front of them, therefore being able to, with the combined attack of his crossbow and her fire, I can usually take out all the monsters in one go. Now, you notice Terra had gained a level and learned Poisona. Now, Poisona is a damage over time spell, also known as a dot. Will continue to damage for the duration of combat, and will actually, if we were hit with it, it would damage us after combat as well. In the original version of this game that I played, it's actually just called Poison, which is another interesting change that they've made, because I think in all of the Final Fantasy games nowadays, they all have like that Poisona or Fire-a or, you know, names to them. Now, since we're being attacked by the back here, you've noticed that Tara is actually step forward of Locke and Edgar. So since we've actually been attacked by the back, she's now in the front row, and Edgar and Locke are in the back row. But since Edgar is so strong with that crossbow, it doesn't mean anything. Because it is a ranged weapon, his crossbow, it's not affected by being in the back row. However, if he was to hit with his lance or sword, then it would be affected. Now, since this is our first time in this cave, I should have mentioned this before, we're going to go through every nook and cranny of this cave that we can go into, because you don't want to miss out on that one chest item that could be somewhere. You don't want to, miss out on that super awesome magical item that's locked away in a chest. They could turn the tide of battle later on. Now you've noticed that right there I was in the middle of picking a magic spell for Tara to use, but noticing what monsters we were fighting, I knew Edgar could kill them all in one shot. In order to conserve Tara's magic pool, I went ahead with Edgar instead, because his attacks do not cost us any additional points. Which, conserving magical power for casters is always something you're going to have to battle with, while especially playing a Final Fantasy game, and especially playing this one. So again, I'm going to skip Tara and go into using Locke's Steel to see if I can steal a nice item, and then use Edgar's crossbow. She still gets XP for the combat because she's not knocked out. It just means she just doesn't, waste any magic power. Now see, this one, I may actually use her, we'll see. Oh, no, see? The hardest part about these games is the fact that the combat becomes so tedious. Like, you notice I've been fighting an awful lot within this last little bit here. And I've mentioned it before, you don't want to skip any combat, because then you're not gaining the XP, you're not picking up that bit of gold there. Now, you notice there I went to the side of that chest. Unlike a lot of other games, in this game, Final Fantasy VI, you can actually open a chest from either side, the front or the back. You don't have to be necessarily right in front of it, like I believe the Legend of Zelda games are. Alright, so if we get up through this corridor, that should get us out of this cave. Yeah. And there we go. So we're now through the cave, and we're going to head down to the nearest village here. Once we're done kicking these guys' butts. Oh, they're stronger than I thought. Perfect. Tara gained a level. Okay, so you've noticed now Locke has taken a knee because his hit points have gotten fairly low. Hopefully we should be able to make it to town before he dies. And there we go. We're into town. Love this character too. I don't use him enough. Right, ignore us and maybe we'll just disappear. Back off, Locke. That guy looks familiar. Yeah, that's him, alright. He comes and goes like the wind, swearing allegiance to no one. Hidden behind the wintry gaze lies a face known to no one who live. Nice. Again, I can't remember the name on this guy usually. I think sometimes I name this guy after my brother, Chris. But I think most of the time I just keep it as Shadow. And like I said before, we're going to keep all character names with their defaults. He's an assassin. He'll kill his own best friend for the right price. Oh, see, they changed that. They changed that from the Super Nintendo. I think it was something about his mother. I'll have to look it up, and I will post it on this portion. I'll put the picture up there. But that's not what he says in the Super Nintendo version. I think it's something like slits his mom's throat for a nickel or something. It may not be that because of the Super Nintendo, but it's something close to that. But Shadow becomes important later on. I still check everything just to make sure that I'm not missing out on stuff. Force a habit from the Super Nintendo days. Duncan's been training his boy Vargas, along with other students. So he's always grumbling about how the kid never seems to be making any progress. Yeah. Oh. So we look just like that student of Duncan's. Well, that would be... I would assume they're talking to Edgar there. Well, let's crawl into bed with this little person here. Now we'll all be drawn into this. Oh, bugger off. $80 per night. Nah, it's not the most expensive place to stay, but, you know, we need to get our hit points back, so. I'll take a little bit of a sleep here. Oh, here's a mogul to teach us some more stuff again. Sprint shoes are always great to have. See, I like in this shop screen, how it used to be is you'd have a list down the center. Well, you'd have to select buy, sell, or exit first, and then you would have the list of stuff down the center with their prices, and then you'd actually have to select the item to see exactly what it does. But in this screen, now that's on the Super Nintendo, but on this, I can actually have sprint shoes highlighted. It tells me how much they're worth, and then tells me at the bottom of the screen there exactly what they do. So that's cool. I don't have to click on them to see exactly what's going on. Pendant with a jewel at its center prevents poison. It's a good one to have. Handsome ring set with a large gemstone prevents petrification. It's a good one to have too as well. And silver rimmed spectacles prevents darkness. Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy at least one pair. Yeah, see, once you get into this screen, you just hit the up and down arrows to see how many you want to buy. In this case, we'll just buy one pair. Me being a person who's played this game fairly frequently, I know I'm going to need more than that, but looking at how much money I actually have, I'm going to play it a little bit more conservative. Prevents poison. I don't know, that one might be... That one's worth grabbing a couple of, at least. I'll use them for now. And Knight's Code I don't really use. Silver spectacles. I think they were called goggles in the Super Nintendo. Prevents darkness. I don't think any of these characters really need to worry about that. So we're gonna get out of there. We're gonna go find some of the other shops though. Since this guy won't get out of our way, we'll talk to him. Now, if you look at that... Excuse me, if you look at that sign there, you see what looks to be a black bird on a wooden sign. That is actually the sign of an area where you'd go in there to rent a chocobo, which you saw us riding earlier to the cave. Again, fast traveling bird so that you can easily get from point A to point B and avoid all combat. Alright, in the weapon shop. So now we're in a shop that's going to affect our weapons and such. So we can actually, we've got dagger highlighted there. A dagger is of E means equal. The red arrow pointing down means it's not as good as, and then the green arrow up means it's better than what they have. Alright. So the dagger that we have is worse than what Tara and Edgar are already having, and equal to what Locke is wielding. Now these items here are only for Edgar. We could buy them now, or we could wait until we get to until we get back to the castle and buy them from there, where they'll be half price, which I think is much better, because instead of spending what is it, $12.50 on them, we'll only spend about 625. And I think both of those are available at the castle. The Mithril Swords. I think we'll go ahead and we'll buy 2 of those. One for Locke, one for Tara. And we're going to buy the Great Sword for Edgar. Oh, you know what? If we were smart, we would have just bought the Great Sword for Edgar and given his Mithril Sword to somebody else. Ah, well, we weren't paying attention. Alright, so we'll back on out of there. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, Rock, why don't you just sell it back? Well, I know later on we're going to be getting more and more characters, so we'll just hold on to it for now. Heavy shields. You can always use extra shielding. Everybody could use one, so why don't we just grab 3? We're gonna buy a cotton robe for Tara, a Kenpo gi, for my buddy. We'll buy her a hairband. I'll buy the 2 boys pummeled hats. Alright. So now we're going to go through and equip all this stuff. So you can see it's actually making... Oh, we didn't buy him anything better on the armor side, but we did buy him a better hat. Silk hat adorned with a flashy chocobo plume. Okay. Alright, so now that we've got him all decked out, oh, I forgot about the relics. We go down to relics. We'll give him a pair. We'll give him the sprint shoes, so the entire party will actually walk faster now that he has those on. I'm gonna work on Locke now. Alright, and then we're just gonna set now. If I was thinking, we could probably have just went to optimize and set it all up that way. Yeah. And there we go. See, now we walk much faster than we used to. Teleport stone. Used to be called a warp stone. Missed something over here. Potion. Yeah, that's important later. I don't like strangers bring me apple cider and we'll talk. My husband Duncan is a martial artist. He's famous even to the north. He took his students to Mount Kolts for some meditation and training, so he probably won't be back for a while. Well, so we now know where they are. Oh, there's a save spot. Always good to save whenever you can. Funny thing is, we haven't found an item shop. Oh, because the item shop's up here. Get out of the way, kid. That's my biggest pet peeve about this game, is that NPCs will just get in your way and not get out of your way. Alright. So we're gonna want to buy some potions for sure. Can never have enough potions. We currently have 13. Buy another 10 just in case. We're gonna want some antidote just in case. Let's buy 10 of those. Phoenix dance. We have 3. We don't have any tents. We do have 4 sleeping bags, which is fine. Echo screen cures silence. We'll want a couple of those just in case. Then we'll grab some eye drops just in case. We'll grab 5. Alright. So I think we're ready to take on the world. Okay, why am I suddenly... Oh, because I hit the backspace. Oh, one thing you guys, there's a little trick for you guys for later on when you're playing this game. Alright, so they went to Mount Kolts, but here's a little thing here. So this must be Duncan's hut here. Well, talk to the old man that wasn't here before. Left a couple days ago, as soon as he heard Master Duncan had been killed, headed up into the mountains. Say Duncan's son Vargas is missing too. I don't like it one bit. There you go. Okay, so we want to head up into the mountains here. Here's our mountain pass to go into. So, what you always want to do before you head into one of these dungeon areas, hit your escape button, go down to save, file, save, and there we go. All right. Damn, saw that chest over there and thought we could make it. So these mobs are a little bit stronger. As you can see, it takes Edgar and Tara to take them out. Ouch. That hits pretty hard. So before Mr. Locke takes too much of a beating, I'll hit him with a potion and Tara with a potion just to keep their hit points up. Remember, we saw a chest over on the other side, so we want to make sure that we get over there and grab that. Now we're going to head back to the main path again. So that looked like Sabin shadowing us through here, which is a good sign. Shit. I accidentally hit the shift too soon, which makes all the characters start to run away. So shift, sets your characters to run away. Make sure you select your magic before you set them to before you hit shift to attack everybody, or else your characters will run away like mine just did. Luckily I caught most of them before they got away. Almost did it again. Alright. Continue on our journey. Oh, everybody died in one shot. Perfect. Just the way I like it. Save point. Since we just recently picked up one, we're going to go ahead and use our tent. Always use the tent before you save. Therefore, all of your characters are at their peak hit points and magic points before you save. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to cut it off there. I know not a very exciting part 4, but this one's getting fairly long, so I want to cut it short before you all get too bored. So once again, thanks again for coming out and watching my Let's Play of Final Fantasy VI. I do appreciate you spending the time with me and enjoying this fantastic game while I play it. Again, if you have any comments or suggestions, or maybe even notice some things that I have missed, leave a comment in the section below. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a like, as well as share it with your friends. Maybe there's somebody on your friends list on Facebook or Twitter that would enjoy watching this video as well. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all of my new videos coming out. Once again, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to watch my videos. You truly don't know how much it means to me. Have yourself a great day.